In this video, we are going to be looking at rational numbers on the number line. So you are going to be able to determine the value of rational numbers on the number line. So let's go ahead and start with vocab. What is a number line? A number line is a line that has marks on certain intervals. The number line consists of all real numbers. So if I look at this number line right here, numbers to the left of 0 are negative. So from 0 to the left, I have negative values. Numbers to the right of 0 are positive. So numbers to the right of 0 are positive values. So how do I determine the missing values on the number line? So if I look at this number line, I have missing values. I don't know what this is right here. I don't know what this is, or this one, or this one, or this one, but I have a value of 8 right here. I also know that this is -8. So I want to be able to fill in these values. I know it's not a positive 1, not an interval of 1, because if I start at 0, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but that's not 6, okay? So I'm going to show you how you can actually determine the value at this interval. All right, so let's look at the same number line. So again, I have 0, I have 8 right here, and -8. So step 1, I'm going to count the intervals between 0 and 8. So I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go to 8, and I'm going to count how many lines are there. Those are called intervals until I get to 8. So here I go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so step 2, I'm going to divide. So the number on the number line divided by the number of intervals. So when I say number on the number line, I am talking about the 8 right here. I'm given 8, and I know that there are 6 intervals. So I'm going to first bring down the 8. I'm going to divide that by the number of intervals. Again, we said was 6. So I'm going to bring that down. Now, I know that I can simplify 8 over 6. So if I reduce that, that becomes 4/3. So what that tells me is that each interval increases with a value of 4/3. So this first interval is going to be 4/3, and then I'm going to add another 4/3 to get to the second interval. So this means that each interval increases by 4/3. So the first one here is 4/3, 8/3, 12/3, 16/3, 20/3, and then this one would be 24/3. But 24 divided by 3 is 8. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these values that I have, and I am going to either reduce them or I'm going to convert them to mixed numbers. So step 3 is to convert improper fractions into mixed numbers. So here, 4/3 is going to convert to 1 1/3. 8/3 is 2 2/3. 12 divided by 3 I know is a whole number. That's 4. 16/3 will convert to 5 1/3. And then 20/3 converts to 6 2/3. Okay, last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to write the left side of 0 with negatives. So what that means is these values, I can fill them in. I know that since this is the first value to the left of 0, it's the first interval, this is going to be 4/3, but it's going to the left, so it's negative. So I'm going to take this value right here, and it's going to become negative right here. And then the 8/3 will be next. So it is actually going to be decreasing by a value of -4/3. So here I have -4/3, -8/3, -12/3, -16/3, -20/3, and then again -8. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did over here. I am going to convert these to mixed numbers, and -20/3, -6 2/3, and that is it. Okay, and so now I know those values on the number line. All right, so I have 3 your turn problems. This is the first one. You can pause the video right now and work out the problem first, and then you can unpause the video so that you can check your answer. Okay, so go ahead and hit the pause button. Okay, So I have my number line where I have 0, and then I can see that I have a 9 and a -9. So what I'm going to do is count the intervals until I get to 9. So I can see that I have 6 intervals. So step 1, I'm going to take my number on the number line, which is 9. So I'm going to bring that down here, and I'm going to divide that by the number of intervals. And you can see my number of intervals is 6. I can reduce. This becomes 3 over 2. So what that means is each interval is increasing by 3 over 2. So I'm going to write 3 over 2, 6 over 2, 9 over 2, 12 over 2, 15 over 2. And then this one would be 18 over 2. And 18 over 2 we know is 9. So that's how I can check and make sure that I did that right. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write these as mixed numbers. So I'm going to convert the improper fraction to mixed numbers. 6 divided by 2 is a whole number, which is 3. 9 over 2 is 4.5. 12 over 2 is a whole number, which is 6. And then 15 over 2 converts to a mixed number of 7.1/2. Lastly, I'm going to do the same thing on the left side. These values are decreasing by a value of -3 over 2. So I'm decreasing by 3 over 2 each time. And then I am going to write the convert to mixed numbers. Okay. Again, some of these have whole numbers like this one, and then this one is going to convert to a mixed number. And that is it for problem number 1. Okay, so problem number 2. Again, if you want to try this problem on your own, go ahead and hit the pause button right now. Okay, so I can see that I have a 5 right here. So what I'm going to do is count my intervals. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am going to write 5. I'm going to bring it down as my numerator, divided by my number of intervals, which is 4. Can't simplify. I can convert it to a mixed number, but you will see that in a second. So I'm going to take 5 over 4. That's my first interval right here. And then I'm increasing by 5/4 each time. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and simplify, not simplify, I'm sorry. I'm going to convert to a mixed number. So 5 over 4 is going to be converted to 1 1/4. 10 over 4, this one is converted to 2 2/4, but this one can be simplified. So this one becomes 2.5. All right, 15 over 4 is 3 3/4. 20 divided by 4 we know is 5. 25 divided by 4, that is a mixed number of 6 1/4. And then 30 divided by 4 is 7 2/4, and I can further simplify that as 7 1/2. All I need to do is fill out my left side. So I'm going to take those values and I'm going to make them negative. And then I am going to write them as their mixed numbers, or once they simplify, some of them again are whole numbers. Okay, so like this one was the whole number that we already had, and then -25 over 4 is -6 1/4. -30 over 4 is -7 2/4, which can further simplify to -7 1/2. Okay, this is the last one. So go ahead and please hit pause if you want to do the problem on your own. Okay, so here I have on the number line 1 over 2. That's a half. All right, so we're going to see how I can apply the same thinking for the other problems to this problem that has a fraction. So here I have 2 intervals. So I'm going to bring down my 1 over 2, which is a half, and I'm going to divide that by the number of intervals, which is 2. Okay, when I take a fraction 1/2 and I divide it by 2, this is going to be 1/2 times 1/2. So you're going to take your numerator. Again, my numerator is 1 over 2. This division becomes multiplication, and you do the reciprocal of 2. So the reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. And I'm going to, when I'm multiplying fractions, I'm going to multiply the numerators together and multiply the denominators together. So I get 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, so I get 1/4. That means each interval is increasing by a value of 1/4 on the right side, and then it's decreasing by 1/4 on the left side. So here I have 1/4, this is 2/4, which reduces to 1/2, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, and 6/4. So let's go ahead and simplify them. This is already simplified, so this one shows that this one is the simplified one. 3/4 is just 3/4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 5/4 we can write as a mixed number, which is 1 1/4. And then 6/4 we can also write as a mixed number and simplify. 1 2/4 is the same as 1 1/2. I'm going to write the values on the left side now. These are decreasing by a value of 1/4. And that's what makes them negative again, because they're decreasing. And here we just write our mixed numbers. And that is it.